When I was a little girl, I would read to my dolls and my stuffed animals. I would stay up late at night reading. And I really embraced this love for English language arts because my high school English teachers, right? We do something special, right? My high school English teachers introduced me to the author's voice and how the author can paint images in your minds. Authors like Shakespeare. And you know, Shakespeare's Macbeth, when the captain comes off the battlefield and says, "My gashes cry for help." Gashes crying for help? That's personification, right? Or in The Crucible, when Abigail's trying to tempt John Proctor, just one more time. And he says, "I'll cut off my hand before I reach for you again." I mean, what a way to say, we are never, ever, ever getting back together, right? Or in A Raisin in the Sun, Lorraine Hansberry, she makes us feel like our own American dream is in the palm of Mama's hands when Walter Lee says, Mama, I want so many things. I want so many things. It's driving me crazy." I love it. I love it. And after teaching 7 years in higher education spaces, the plan was to teach what I love. But I must admit, I thought it would be similar to what you see on television or in the movies, with paper balls flying through the air, students bouncing all over desks, graffiti all over chalkboard walls. But it wasn't anything like that. Yet I still decided I'd be strict. And then one day, a student was giving a presentation. She was giving a speech in class. She started the speech with the word "firstly." Firstly. I critiqued her in front of her peers. I said, "Firstly is not a word that I'm familiar with, so you can't use it." That set her off. She pulled out her phone, found the word "firstly," shoved the phone in my face and said, "Firstly is a word, you insert expletive here." And then she said a whole bunch of words I was not familiar with. But yet I still decided I'd be strict. I presented more a caricature of a teacher. I was more concerned about this data, the curriculum and the lesson plan, than building relationships with my student. And then one day, my high school cafeteria was transformed into a slice of a city, one that resembled a neighborhood that may be struggling. This professional development was a poverty simulation. We had not done any kind of simulation like this before. The exterior of the cafeteria were lined with tables. Each one of those tables had a sign on it representing something you would see in this neighborhood, maybe a check cashing place. There was a homeless shelter, Department of Social Services, and the interior of the cafeteria were metal folding chairs, clusters of metal folding chairs. And these clusters of metal folding chairs represented a family home. The objective of this simulation was for us, the participants, to have a vicarious experience of what it's like to live with limited resources and to be struggling financially. So each participant would go over to one of the family homes, grab a packet, and find out who you were playing, what role you'd be playing that day. I played the role of a 16-year-old pregnant female whose boyfriend did not want to see her, and the mother was keeping him away. And my task was to go to school. So I go to school, and I can't focus because I'm thinking, okay, I'm pregnant. My boyfriend doesn't want to see me. His mom is being mean to me. I'm going to go find my mother and hang out with her. So I find the person who's playing my mother. We go on some errands. So we have to cash her check. They took most of her check. Everywhere you go, you have to pay for transportation through these little transportation tickets. We go and we pay some other bills. After we pay our bills, we're standing there and we hear crashes. There's a crash, and there's another crash. It's the collapsing of folding chairs. And remember, the folding chairs represented your home. So the collapsing of chairs meant that you were evicted. So we're standing there like, well, now what do? We barely have enough money to get to the homeless shelter. I'm pregnant. My boyfriend doesn't want to see me. His mom is being mean to me, and she's keeping him away. The South is the highest rates for children living in poverty, with 1 in 5. This simulation for me, this professional development simulation, felt so real. Something that I had never experienced, but it felt very real to me. And so I knew that I had to be more transformative in my approach to reaching students. So I started a drama club. So students can build self-awareness and self-confidence. And then I created a magazine so students can use artistic expression to comment on social issues. And Wellness Wednesday in my class involves at least 2 to 3 minutes of quiet meditation. I also get to help new teachers build relationships in their classrooms. Through the New Teachers Institute in the summer, I've been helping them since 2019, creating sessions so they can build relationships in their classroom with students and learn how to connect. It's very special to me. It's very important. Now, if my students saw me, the students I had in the beginning saw me now, they'd say, "Who is that? That's not Miss Bey. That's not the Miss Bey we had when she started." And they're right. I've changed. But in some ways, I'm still the same because my why hasn't changed. Not much. I mean, you ask 10 educators why they're in it, and you'll get 10 different responses. Some are in it because they just love education. Some are in it because they love the students. And then some are in it for the money because it's so lucrative. The late, great tennis player Arthur Ashe said, "Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can." It's been my mantra since I heard the quote. So I started with this growth mindset to transform my practice, the way I approach students. I use all of the resources that I can to help aid in that, and then I do everything I can to help students grow. Because reaching students is just as important as teaching them. And I still love when they debate about why George had to do that to Lenny at the end of Mice and Men, and when they recite the prose of Langston Hughes, when he says, "Hold fast to your dreams, for if dreams die, life is like a broken-winged bird that cannot fly." I still love that stuff. And I saw Firstly. I did. I saw Firstly shortly after the incident, and she greeted me with so much warmth and kindness and joy, and it was as if nothing ever happened. I never critiqued students like that again. So our evolution as humans on this planet is about the seeds we plant in our life's journey. It's more about those seeds than the data we collect along the way.